Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. And in our top stories today from the Huffing and Puffington Post, AOC files articles of impeachment against Justice Alito Thomas. New York Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said the Supreme Court is spiraling into a constitutional crisis threatening American democracy writ large. That's fascinating, is it not? Because here on the BuzWeaver channel, we have talked about how the establishment and its assets will go after any institution, any person, anything that stands in their way. Now we see even the executive branch is not immune from the establishment uniparty. When things don't go their way, when they aren't in control, when they aren't able to bully, when they aren't able to manipulate, when they aren't able to shame, when they aren't able to ban certain individual people with influence, they go after them. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. This is the perfect illustration of our institutions and our culture having been hijacked. Rep. AOC followed through on her threat to file articles of impeachment against conservative U.S. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas on Wednesday, accusing them of promoting a corruption crisis on the court for failing to disclose gifts and recuse from certain cases. It's absolutely extraordinary. This is the illustration that we talk about here on the BuzWeaver channel, where we take the difficult, the complicated, the tumult, and the confusion and illustrate how these individuals have become so haughty and so self-important, self-aggrandizing, that they can just do whatever they want, whenever they want, regardless of the system. Remember when they leaked the information about abortion being turned back over to the states? You know, we're still debating over who leaked that, and you can only imagine who it could have been, considering the subject, the intent, and the desire, and which party has more to gain from that than another party. And it narrows it down quite easily. Now, of course, we'll probably never really quite know. Justice Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito pattern of refusal to recuse from consequential matters before the court in which they hold widely documented financial and personal entanglement constitutes a grave threat to the American rule of law, the integrity of our democracy, and one of the clearest cases for which the tool of impeachment was designed, AOC said. Oh, well, see, these were all designed for them. These rules and these laws and these policies were all designed for the Democrats, and they must protect them through authoritarian democracy, multicultural authoritarian democracy. I think people are starting to see the pattern here. But here's what's extraordinary. Now when they keep wanting to claim about laws and policies and so forth, of course, because they're in the position of authority. Why isn't Merrick Garland reporting? He's been subpoenaed, but Merrick Garland he's not supposed to be above the law, but he's not reporting. And we have here, of course, remember, after they went after Brett Kavanaugh. Accuser Christine Blasey Ford recounts darkest times, death threats after a 2018 testimony. They brought this woman out. It was Diane Assault Rifle Feinstein that brought Christine Blasey Ford out to smear Brett Kavanaugh in a disgusting maneuver that isn't beneath the Democrats to do. And it's absolutely extraordinary. So here they did the articles on her, and this was in March, right? There's just threats and stuff. But the pressure became so apparent. But here again, as I say, the Democrats need only get the knee-jerk reaction they want to plant the seed in people's mind, because later, when the truth comes out, it's already been planted in the minds of people. Kavanaugh accuser admits she fabricated allegations as a ploy for attention. These individuals are just, in the simplest terms, evil. They want to plant seeds in people's minds. We know the seed they're trying to plant now, and that is that Donald Trump is a criminal. And so you hear people like Adam Schiff, who we're about to talk to, always have to include in any of their statements anything regarding Donald Trump: convicted felon, Donald Trump, convicted felon candidate, Republican candidate, Donald Trump. I mean, it's just absurd. And we see this continuing, of course. Remember, a key source for the infamous Trump-Russian dossier is charged with lying to FBI. And, of course, he was later freed. It was completely dissolved by the Democrats. So this individual was later released. And then, of course, the intelligence behind Hunter Biden's laptop. Spies who lie. 51 intelligence experts refuse to apologize for discrediting true Hunter Biden story. from the New York Post themselves. The New York Post was shut down by Twitter, or all the report was taken down by Twitter and all social media and the media, because it just wasn't the time yet, right? The seeding, the minutia, the nuance, the circle wagoning had not been achieved yet. So they were shut down, a media outlet. I mean, the New York Post isn't just some random person posting online that is shut down. This was the New York Post. And interestingly enough, on an additional story about Judge Merchan recusing himself, oh, look, Microsoft took the story down. But what was it exactly that we're talking about here? From Post Millennial, New York Judge Merchan expands gag order to prevent Trump from talking about his daughter, who was paid $4 million by Adam Schiff to push Russian collusion. So here we have AOC talking about the justices needing to recuse themselves, and here's Judge Merchan's daughter working with a Democratic leader, working with Adam Schiff. Where's the recusal? But we already know right now that this, the case itself, the fraud case, and then the hush money case are absolute show trials, absolutely absurd, a mechanism, a device, a vehicle to plant the seeds in the minds of people that Donald Trump is a one-dimensional villain. And we see it across the board. Christine Blasey Ford, the Steele dossier, the intelligence experts. We're seeing a pattern of coordination by the left to always be in a position to plant seeds of doubt, to plant seeds of manipulation, to give people an opinion they should have about what is actually happening. But the reality is that they're being called out. They're seeing Donald Trump victories. They're angry about the Supreme Court having come out about abortion and turn it over to the states. They're equally as irritated and annoyed and angry that the Supreme Court ruled for the immunity of presidents. Now, it isn't just for Donald Trump. It's going to be for any president, because they want to cease this effort by opposing parties to shut down political rivals. That's part of the reason, because at any time, Donald Trump could then go after Joe Biden, and Joe Biden could go after whoever, or Donald Trump could go after Biden. He could go after Obama, as we talk about with Awalaki, the young 16-year-old American boy that was killed there visiting his father in a drone strike by Obama. So these are all things that they could be held accountable for. I mean, Biden could be held accountable for the deaths of people because of his open border policy, perhaps even pursued because he's the commander-in-chief, right? Commander-in-chief during the abysmal disaster that was the Afghan exit. These are all things that the establishment is not taking into consideration, because when they're in power, it's all about their power and their control. And then you can rest assured, should Donald Trump win in 2024, now, as I said, the establishment uniparty has not stopped what they're doing. They're going to continue doing what they're doing. But the thing is, if Donald Trump comes into power, I can assure you that all of this power, all of this control that they have given themselves while they have been in office, they are going to discount all of it for Donald Trump and say, he has no authority to do this. He's not authorized. He's a convicted felon. They are going to throw the book at Donald Trump and prevent him and undermine him at every level. So this is absolutely the most arrogant, haughty, absurd action by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The hypocrisy and the double standards are palpable. It's absolutely extraordinary. I want to thank all you guys across New Tech, as well as all of you guys here on YouTube, for your guys' continued support. And, of course, appearing there on the screen for those of you on YouTube, that would be the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.